will not allow a gambling facility in the harbor anyway. It has to go on the north side, so you can't necessarily, a gaming facility is allowed by right in a waterfront district because the physical structure is not allowed by the state.
The only thing that would have anything to do with gaming on the north side would be, it would give you the waterfront, you know, attaching to it, whatever lease or whatever somebody did on the north side, you have you getting to the water.
But that's in the high density by right.
But not down there would be, it's a separate, that's not zoning, that's what,
Right.
that's why we're
That's
looking at the
what-
zoning.
Yeah,
So-
and we're saying the same thing.
So we want to make the,
I'd like to make that,
wait a minute, we want the harbor to be the waterfront district, and the waterfront district needs to be defined in the definitions and
If you're gonna, unless you don't want to, you need to add
the gaming
the
thing.
gaming or whatever else you want in there for the waterfront.
And we need to let Bill know if it's going to be by right or through
that would
special
be
exception or,
associated in that.
Isn't that all property owned by the state anyway, Billy? We just kind of,
all right,
Yeah, but I think that you need to have it zoned.
all right. So we want to make the harbor waterfront district,
You know, second.
and we want to define that waterfront district in our unified land use. And we want the gaming to be by right in the waterfront district. Okay.
That makes, whatever, I'm just,
I haven't got a cup.
All right, is that everything that everybody's got? Because I'm going to read it back to y'all, and we're going to get a motion that, no?
Well,
It's not, you're not through?
no, the property that's zoned on Klondike between Todd Terrace and Summer Lane
Todd Terrace.
is presently R1, and I'd like to see it stay that way. And I know that this parcel here on Summer Lane would probably like to remain R1.
All right, it's now,
Leonard,
okay,
the
wait.
first one, what is it?
Property between Todd Terrace and Summer Lane on Klondike Road,
Up here.
right here,
From where to where?
right here, right here.
Is this Todd Terrace?
And that
Right? There's
piece.
Summer Lane right there, and this is
That-
Todd Terrace.
Right, that piece right there.
These two parcels right here
And
are,
that third one there as well,
so kind of going up to the canal.
up to
No,
here.
this little bitty thing.
Right.
All right. It's now, on this map, it is C2, and you want it to go back to R1,
Just stay R1.
stay
I don't
on.
agree.
It's okay.
No, and we've debated it before. I don't agree with it.
Sorry,
Okay,
we couldn't hear anything.
from Todd Terrace to Summer Lane, and this parcel right here, which is presently zoned R1, he wants it to stay R1 instead of C2.
Okay.
From Summer Lane south.
South to Todd Terrace,
Todd Terrace.
and then this little parcel
That
right there.
parcel on the corner.
Just that one
This little thing right here.
squared off.
If we could square it off, I mean, but I know at least that lot. Yeah, I really don't want frontage on Summer Lane for commercial. I mean, it could front that way.
What was the request? I'm sorry.
Okay, look. Right. See right here, this is Todd Terrace right here. Okay, this is Summer Lane. It's now, this map has it at C2. It's presently zoned R1. From here to here, he wants it to remain R1, and also this parcel that's right here to remain R1. So basically, these two big parcels right here and this little one.
What's on those parcels right now? Leonard, is that?
That's family, it's a house is on this one, and this is a group of families here. Right here. Well, actually, right there, right there, right there, right there, right there, and right there, and then on that one right there.
Where are you?
I'm right here. We got this. Uncle Paulina, Chris.
So this parcel's basically split zoned right here.
Yeah, both of those.
All right, so is there anything else Do y'all have anything else? Okay, do y'all want me to read back what we've got so far? Or do y'all have
Go ahead, yeah, please.
it? Okay, the first one was the neighborhood commercial on the one property east of North Forest at the Kips needs to be C3 instead of R1.
Can we stop a second and, is there any discussion about that? Is that all right?
That's where that realtor's office is.
Right next-
Right next to Realtor, yeah.
right next-
Yes.
Are we good with that?
Can't agree on a map.
Mark and Ronnie?
I agree.
Are we
You
good
okay with the Kips
Kippy-
property?
Kippy property?
Kippy's-
Yeah.
Kippy's.
Yeah.
All right,
Yes.
next.
All right, the next one is on Cleveland Avenue, from
Old Pass Road to Gardendale.
north,
By the ditch
by the
to-
ditch
to-
to north to Old Pass Road. That block from Cleveland to Gardendale is going to go from R1 to C2 on this, up to Old Pass Road. All right, the Harbor District will be the waterfront district. We need to define that in the Unified Land Use Ordinance, and
When we
game.
get there for voting tonight.
Right, and gaming will be by right in the waterfront district. Klondike Road from Todd Terrace to Summer Lane, and the small parcel right
On Summer Lane.
on Summer Lane will remain R1 instead of C2.
Billy, didn't you want to do something about the,
Yeah, we want to talk about that too before we, but are y'all, are we in agreement on that change? Or is that going to need more discussion on the Klondike Road?
I'd like to discuss it under unfinished business.
Excuse me, say it again,
I
Mark.
said I would like to discuss it under unfinished business. Is that, I assume that's when we're actually voting?
Yeah,
Yes.
and we can
On
do
these
it then. I
changes.
just want us, when we get there, to be very close to what we're ready to vote on. And I have something again, and we've talked about it. We've talked about the area, and I know the work and the thought process that's gone in by the planning commission over on the Lawler, Ferguson Street and all that
She
over on
went one
our
of the
east
properties
side,
on
north of
commercial.
tracks, where it's,
group? I don't think that we
has a
would do
goodly amount, it's
commercial.
been up to
I
McCon
mean, we're
Avenue.
not telling
a
these
goodly
people what to
amount
do with
of
their property.
multifamily, you know,
It's his zone,
duplexes,
let 'em do it.
fourplexes, and
They don't
so
want
forth.
zoning,
And this
don't
zoning has been changed on this proposed map to R1.
Yes.
And I will tell you, that's fine if that's what the board wants. Just keep in mind,
That's not wooded, she lives right there.
structures that are built there.
It's, that's
I almost think,
right there.
I can't guarantee, but I almost think
Yeah.
no one will be able to sell
No,
it
actually, lift station
or
right
buy
there, yeah.
anything if it's a rental, like a duplex or a fourplex.
It's not
Because when
like
the zone's
this,
been
but
changed,
there, it's,
That's right,
you're
we've
not
held on to
direct
that.
to be there.
We've held on to that. This
You're
used
not
to be a
gonna get
farm that
fined.
was sold.
And so
This used to be a
therefore,
farm that was sold.
who owns them
These were
right now, and
farms
if you ever
that
look
was
for
old.
something to ever get rehabbed
which
or
lots are
fixed
yours?
up with a sale, somebody else buying it and fixing it, it's probably not gonna happen. It'll stay blighted or whatever like it is.
That one all the way
Because
down
there'll get no
Klondike.
fines.
from
You know,
there.
if the zoning doesn't allow
And
you
this
to
is,
put back
this is
up
ever
or
since,
fire or
she owns
stone,
all that.
you're dead in the water. And so,
That'd be more
think
valuable
about that
commercial.
as you
I won't sell it.
Well, I'd like to make a comment on that, Mr. Mayor.
Pardon, Ms. Whitfield.
The reason during the work session, I agreed with the same sentiments you're saying, is that there are some other developments, apartment complexes, north of the tracks over here behind Cole Motors,
Woodville.
that were basically in that same condition. And then the new owners came in, Mr. Carpenter, and just completely renovated it from one end to the other. But he wouldn't have been able to acquire the financing if it wasn't designated in that particular zone,
Right here.
to have it the way it is now. And I'm hoping that with USM building up more, that more people, we will be looking for more apartments and more housing. And if it comes down to it, I don't believe they're gonna tear them down and try to rebuild. They'll probably renovate them, just like they did these other units. So I'm kind of in favor of leaving it like it is. I
You
mean,
talk about R1?
the way it is now, no.
Well, right,
R2.
we're talking about the map is R1 right now.
I know
A
that.
good deal of
But
that,
R2, it should, well,
Is it
that's my
R2?
opinion.
yeah. You see,
Only because of the
This is something
developers
else.
that may come in and do the refinancing.
Can I ask the planning commission's thoughts on making that R1? I didn't know, what was your thought process?
That had built out and duplexes and multi-family that had gone bad.
Yes.
And it has blighted where the individual resident, their land value is.
Yes.
And it's like just carrying on. Our thought was stop to, didn't allow them to, then perhaps the single family would be back on their feet. Renovate those houses and upgrade their area instead of continuing to allow them.
Yeah, in my discussions with some of the residents that live in that area, because I made as many as I could aware of this change, they have those same sentiments that you all have for the reason of changing it.
What they're saying about financing it, I don't have an answer to that, but I just feel like there's enough land concern about USM, there's enough land along railroad.
There's plenty of land along Railroad, sure.
And there are a lot of areas in Long Beach that allow for it. We were trying to see if there was something forward,
And
help that.
right, and when my representative was on the planning, I do remember speaking to her in depth about that area, which is why I took a poll of that area of the existing residents. And that was their consensus, to have that go back to residential.
well, you can't be able to talk to the people that own their own property, you go in and talk to them.
As many whoever would contact. You know, it's been a while, it's been a while since I had spoken to Gretchen about that area, when she was on the planning commission.
So y'all feel that sooner or later, preferably later, that single-family homes will be built in that area?
Well, our thought was that if the duplexes or multi-families, if there were no more put in, that maybe we stabilize the food. It was just trying to do something.
Right. I agree with that.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying with one, oh, that's a little low.
And I don't think the emphasis was on the duplexes. We were just trying to figure some way to try to bring that area up instead of we keep going down. You know, and you're right, maybe that's the wrong way to do it.
I understand, and that's a tough area a lot of times for us, and,
But could they come in for a zone change?
they not, that'd be that's all getting ready to be R1, and you
Yeah, I
get
guess
spot
that's right.
zone,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a disaster.
Yeah.
It's all in there.
You know, right now, the
Yeah.
spot uses, if you go to R1, you're gonna have about 40%, maybe 50% is gonna be rental. It's gonna be duplexes, fourplexes, threeplexes, you know, I don't really have an answer. I'm concerned over the investment property that's there, and this is not coming from a soul said a word to me. I mean, they don't even probably know what's going on, you know, these people that own these properties. I'm just saying that, to me, if you ever expected any of those units and the rentals to be upgraded, you're probably gonna get a new owner when they get upgraded, more than likely. Or you're gonna have a owner that wants to seek financing to upgrade. And I believe, I really do, and I may be wrong, but if they seek finance and the zone's wrong, they're not gonna finance it. Because if it burns to the ground, you know, the lending institution. And so in other words, we're killing it. You know, we're killing what's there, you can't expect it to get better. All you can do is hope that some of the grass and woods north of 9th Street towards Allen Road gets a few houses. because the rest of it's built out. There's no lots there anyway, you have what you have. So I couldn't put my hands around where we were going with that. I know that it would love to be spruced up, and that was a thought process that actually Kay, some of her constituents feel like that would help. It's really up to the board. I mean, I'm logging what I'm saying, and let's see what happens down the road.
Perhaps where the answer is, we have the international property maintenance, the city adopted.
Right.
And hold those property owners, the feet to the fire, and police that. And don't allow them to start throwing junk outside. Whatever looks like on the inside isn't going to impact the neighborhood, it's the outside. And that's what brings the neighbors down. And if they could start policing and enforcing some of that in that area, where they get the message, you gotta keep it.
I agree with
We have the teeth to do it.
Tana, I am not, we really do, and we can, it's an ongoing effort. We have it all over spots of the city that we struggle with it, but, I just didn't think we were gonna accomplish that by that vast zoning change for that area. That's just me, and I'm logging it,
I totally see where you're coming from.
and the board can do what they want to do.
Well, you remember back in '01, we talked about that USM expand, and you were there, Frank, Bill, we were all talking about making it R2, so when, in the future, we have that expansion from USM, we'll be able to accommodate the students. And that kind of just fell to the ground. I know that everything else going on, but that was just my only thought process on that, was to keep people, let people know that there are some places that are available for a reasonable amount, and hopefully a developer will come in and eventually see what's happening down here and make some changes, like several of them over there. That's up to.
My 2 cents, and I've talked to the mayor and Tanya a little bit about it. I don't know that rezoning it all R1 is the answer either. I think cleaning that up is decades down the road, and I kind of half believe that that's what this map was supposed to do, was plan for decades down the road. But at the same time, I have been a long supporter of students being housed either on campus or off campus, and on campus seems like a farther fetch than that area being cleaned up. I just don't see the legislature or IHL ever allowing and competing with the other campuses to house students. I hope I'm wrong, but in the meantime, we may need to do some R2 down there, whether it's the wholesale application of what's there before or not. I don't know if we need to go to that extreme, but I think we need to address something down there for R2. I think the new president of the university's got some big plans for that Gulf Coast campus, and I hope addressing off-campus student needs is one of them. And in a lot of cases, developers, if the universities buy into it, developers will come in and build it and lease it back to the university, and not just have a developer come in and build a duplex that he leases to students. It would strictly be a dorm off campus for students. I don't know if the need is there yet, but I hope it will be. So I think we've got to do something over there. I'm just not convinced how much and where it needs to be.
Now, Mark, I was feeling like that if we ever had a really good shot of some interest in that area, because it's close to the campus, for a young married couple, more than just a single, well, I guess people could share apartments. My granddaughter does at Hattiesburg. But it looked to me like there was probably the best opportunity in the history of that area over the last 35 and 40 years, since it's been built out the way it is, to possibly get interest in rehab and possibly get interest in somebody tune up the units and make them better where they will lease and rent. And that would be the students' demand for apartments. This is probably the greatest shot we've ever had.
I appreciate